Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to Bozmos2, where we are playing Chaco. It is turn 18. Let's jump into things. Alright, so, did a bunch of magic site searching. Failed in most spots. We found 2 in Trebon, though. Found 2 tar pits back to back. So, tar pits are just fire one site, so we got 2 fire one sites in a single go. So, yay. Our fire income goes from 0 to 2. We'll take it. Fantastic. Proclamation from Niflheim, Scotty, the Huntress. Cool. And just exists to be a pain for, yes, the Lemurian Centurion. Yeah, that's the thing that's happening. Alright, then we have a wooden construction of a wooden fort in Zaburia, and in Northia is completed. Alright, so pretty quick and easy there. We'll go ahead and talk about some basic movements, and then we'll talk about the big thing that is Vongar. So, we're just moving around a bunch of site searchers. We've site searched for Astral in Ablak, so we're moving Domen. Again, our goal here is trying to get kind of like up to, you know, I mean, you guys know how I like to freaking play. I'm probably going to end up picking up, if I survive that long, somewhere in the mid-game, I'll probably end up picking up a lot of the site searching, remote site searching spells. And I just like to have enough of an income to be able to afford those, right? Not a good habit. It's not an efficient use of gems or mage turns. But I have that like mindset of like, oh, what if there's one more magic site here? Ah, we've got to know, right? So, okay. We are moving Bozmod2 and Star 1 over to Northia. Searching in Northia. Gonna be searching with them when they get there. Ikmong 5 is moving over to Assad in order to drop a fort there. Bashari 2 is over to Good Old Woods to try to get the unrest down there. Finnega's doing good with that Kashari. Moving Bozmod 1 and Star 3 over to High Peaks to site search there, and we're actually moving Kikmong 3 back out of High Peaks. So I didn't even think about this. I just skipped this battle. Sorry. We got attacked in Jereb by, and this is actually really interesting to me, a bunch of Malia Druzinas. And why it's interesting to me is because this is a good portion of his forces right now, of the forces that he has that are mobile, right? Which means they're in, you know, the positioning that they are in does not really allow them to defend his, well, I guess defend his capital, right? Like, he's not patrolling his capital, and he's not defending Vongar. So that's interesting for me. So we've lost Jared, but no big deal. Not super worried about it. Of note, and this is very, very amusing. So last turn, Bogarus pushed Phasia off of his capital. Phasia is coming back. But in the meantime, Bogarus got hit by a misfortune event and got hit by Indies. So his capital is currently, he only had, because Phasia, he had a lot of PD, right? But then Phasia broke his PD when they were sieging his capital. He pushed them off, and in that time, I want to say he put in like 15 PD or something like that. Not a crazy amount, but not an insubstantial amount. We think about like the amount of just like how much you have to spend to go. We're at 376, right? To go from 6 to 15, right? Like, it starts to add up a bit. And if you're thinking, right, like what did we? There's almost 100 gold to go from 6 to 15, right? So if he doesn't have much gold every turn, 100 gold to go from, you know, 0 to 15 that's a lot to throw in. To then have it immediately erased by independence is kind of rough. So that's a complication for Bogarus. His Malia's Druzinas being away is a complication for Bogarus. I think I think now is as opportune a time as ever to hit Ongar and cross our fucking fingers. And this is, I think, a finger cross, because we've seen when he has too many Astrapelagists, we've seen what happens. He absolutely can burn us down with lightning bolts or break up our formation to the point to where we have big issues. I am hopeful that with 29 Katsinas, 3 Wuyas, a Hmong Katsina, and our god, Yuna the Great Bear, my hope is that that's gonna be enough, right? I am intentionally, let's take a look. I'm intentionally not bringing all these Adalatal warriors or these barbarians, right? Specifically because they could do a lot of work. They honestly could. With the screen of Katsinas just being the barbarians, period, right? They could do work. However, I am trying to avoid... My Katsinas have very high morale, very high survivability, right? We've seen that before. So my hope is that if they don't have to worry about Adalatal warriors or barbarians breaking and running and fucking the morale, right? Then I'm hoping 29 Katsinas, 3 Wuyas, a Hmong Katsina, and our god can take whatever is here in Vongar. And we know that there's a lot here in Vongar. I am hoping he's not patrolling with everything. I'm hoping he's trying to be greedy and get something back, right? Because if we can fight just the PD, oh, mwah, fantastic, right? But I find that to be very unlikely. He is probably going to be patrolling with everything that he has, in which case, as we can see, right, mainly Astrapelagists and Peshti Axemen. So the Peshtis are... That's wrong. Sphacia were this one. The Peshti Axemen are these guys, right? Decent protection, decent defense skill. They hit hard, right? Hard enough. But we should be able to repel a good portion of them. Those that we can't repel should get entangled. And if we can't get them entangled, right, we have Temper Flesh and Regeneration. So that is the hope. But so that's the you know, the main force, but we also know that there's like 114 PD there. Obviously that's not the number, right? But that's the number of units that we saw previously. So it's like 40, 50 PD, something like that. That's a lot of PD. It's a crazy amount of PD. And this is the other thing, lots of our Astrapelagists. So if he has like 10 of these guys, maybe more, doing lightning bolts, that's gonna hurt. That's a lot. So I don't know if we win this or not. And this is the difference between me. I say me. This is the difference between a good player and a great player, right? Good player versus a great player would probably try to test this, or would have another plan for avoiding a, you know, roll of the dice scenario. I'm just rolling the dice and we're gonna see how it works. My hope is that we win this no matter what, because my hope is that ultimately, even though we're not gonna have regeneration on our Great Bear, we're not gonna have blunt resistance on our Great Bear, right? But he's still gonna be relatively high protection. He's still gonna berserk. He's gonna kill a lot of people. And here's the kicker: I'm hoping he's gonna be able to rout the enemy army or assist in routing the enemy army relatively early on. So fingers crossed. That's the big focus for this turn. Everything else this turn is kind of as we have been. Recruitment-wise, we're going to have another Wuya soon, more Katsinas. Everywhere else, it's recruiting Star Priests and Elite Warriors and Archers. Star Priest, Elite Warrior, Archer. Star Priest, Elite Warrior, Archer. An Elder over here, right? We'll have a fortified village here in Ablak in 2 months. Same over here in High Peaks. We'll We'll have a fortified village next month in Hesperia. I think as long as we're down with that, right? Like, I'm hopeful that we are going to be able to just win here in Bogarus. Quickly finish off Bogarus with Facia's aid. Because to my understanding, Facia is coming back in like a turn or two with another stack, right? And then start looking elsewhere. I've already started. I've opened discussions with Atlantis. I had brief discussions with Ind, and before anything, this is because this is the type of player that I am. I'm never going to, I'm not going to attack. I'm going to attack Ind. There is the chance that Ind believes that we have a non-aggression pact. When people come to that conclusion on their own, I typically do not disabuse them of that situation, but I will always confirm with them before I attack them, right? And that loses me the element of surprise in some situations. But basically, I had conversations with Ind where Ind was discussing the concept of a nap, and I said I would be open to a nap, but no one agreed to a nap. Sometimes players get into those conversations and they're like, well, that means we have a nap. No. We do not have a nap until both parties say, yes, we agree to having X, right? And then typically, especially since I do most of my diplomacy in Discord, that shit gets pinned, right, in the channel. But, this is a multiplayer game. There's people from different nationalities, right? Language can sometimes be a barrier, right? So regardless of whether or not I firmly hold that belief, I will always, right, unless I have something that I can clearly point to, like we pinned this nap in the channel, right? If I feel like someone might be like, oh yeah, we have a nap, and I feel like that's not the case, I'm always going to confirm. So, that's a long way to say, I think Ind might think that we have a nap, when we don't. I won't attack Ind without confirming that with them, which might give away the element of surprise, but we'll see. I'm also not I'm not entirely sure that I'm super interested in just attacking Ind. I'm actually potentially interested in moving up into Old Man's territory. I'm trying to see. I think this is Foray Flegra's the closest competition that he has. I'm trying to get some. I've got a scout coming over from Ine Umbral, and I've got a scout going up here. I want to get an eye on what's going on here, so I can kind of like grow to understand who's there. I'd also like to get someone down here. I know Niflheim's down here, but I don't know exactly where. So I'd like to figure that out. We're producing more scouts all over the place. We're gonna have a lot of scouts, so it's a very big map. I'd like to see a good portion of it. We haven't discovered anything super interesting this turn, as a heads up. We didn't find like new Satis or anything like that, and the only other, so we're kind of on this central portion. The only other planet we're really on is on Azaloon, and we haven't really found anything yet. So, still looking. Could be fine, though. Alright, I think that's probably about it. Not much else going on for the current turn. Fingers crossed that things go well for Vongar. Research continues very slowly. God. Okay, so I think just for my own sanity, the next time I play, I'm gonna have to play something that's like, it's like middle-aged Ulm or something like that. Something that I don't give a shit about a bless on, and it's just gonna be like full scales. Full fucking scales, don't care. Because I've played here lately, full scales or not close to full scales, good scales, is my typical playstyle, right? And the last several multiplayer games, I've been trying to like get out of my comfort zone with that and try some bigger blesses, try doing blesses in a different way than I normally would, etc. And it's fun, it is, but it's also exhausting when it's not my playstyle, because I want to research things and I want to have copious amounts of coin to spend on whatever the fuck I want, etc. So kind of rough. I think legitimately the next time I play a multiplayer game, it's gonna be a full swing back, full scales, you know, someone with good base troops that I can just shovel out and toss at indies, you know. Oof. Oofa doifa. Anyways, that's gonna be it for the turn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.